Thanks, Andy. Good morning, members. Welcome to this Nithsdale Area Committee special meeting on the 25th of March. Tracy, you have said and apologies, please, and I will approve the members' remote participation.
It's morning, Chair. Good morning, members. We've got 10 members present, all on Microsoft Teams, and I have apologies from Councillor Rob Davidson. Thank you.
Sorry, Tracy, carry on.
No, that's me, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you. Declarations of interest, members? I take it there are none. We have had a look at the minute of the previous meeting, 9th of March. Is this a true record? And if so, are we content to approve the minute?
Agreed.
Thank you. Is there any other business deemed urgent by the Chair due to any further decision? I have one item of business, which is on our papers as agenda item 4A, Dumfries Town Centre Markets, report by Community Planning and Engagement Manager. Have the papers before us. Liz, do you have anything to add to your report?
Yes, thank you. First of all, just think an apology to members for the late circulation of this paper. The reason for the delay, as indeed you'll see in the paper, that a number of the issues were only being determined by committees last week and on Tuesday at the Communities Committee. And obviously the 48 hours have now passed since the Communities Committee took place. So we're able to confirm that these decisions are now being implemented. And the reason that we're looking for a decision today is that the agreement you had in place in November only went up until June this year. So we're keen to make sure that there's clarity for everyone going forward. So thank you for making your time available today. Thank you.
Well done, Liz. Thanks for that, and thanks for that explanation. That'll probably remind that members' minds at rest as to the late paper and the purpose for it. But that's really helpful. Okay, members, with that small explanation from Liz, I'll open the meeting up to members that want to have a say or any questions for Liz. I have Councillor McKee, and then I have one other I can't see yet. Oh, John Campbell. So, Councillor McKee, please.
It's regarding paragraph 3.9. Down at the end, it says it was confirmed at a committee that the council could only issue a single occupation permission for one specific area at any one time. Now we're looking for Burns statue down to Shakespeare Street virtually, isn't it? Or down to the fountain, certainly. Is that classed as one area?
Yes, it would be, because as you'll see in the appendix, there's now that wider area that can be covered by a single road occupation permit. And my understanding is that the roads colleagues speak to any applicants just to be clear about where they are intending to occupy, but the permit would cover that one area.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Liz. I have three members looking to speak. I've got Graham Bell, followed by John Campbell, followed by Leader Elaine. So, Graham Bell, please.
Good morning, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm glad that we've come to some sort of conclusion. It's taken a long, long time for both operators to work, you know, within the town centre. As you know, we need to get as many people into the town centre because a number of businesses have been struggling with COVID, some difficult times ahead of us, and we need to try and fill these spaces. So I'm quite glad that we've come to some sort of conclusion, and I'm happy with the report. Thank you.
Very kind of you. Thanks, Graham. John Campbell, please.
Thanks, Chair. I'm having trouble unmuting myself. Yeah, good morning, everyone. One of the points I was going to raise has already been covered by Councillor McKee. I've got a couple of other points looking for clarification, if that's helpful for us. The Guild intends to hold, you know, its markets in April and May, which is fine because that was already agreed at a previous meeting. But then they're going to pursue other locations, and I was just wondering, you know, if Liz could maybe enlighten members on those other occasions, other places, locations. And another point that I wanted to raise was that the town centre dynamics is intending to submit an application for a change to its licence to be able to use the new area covered. So does that mean that if they've got that particular licence, nobody else can come in, you know, for a future market, for example? And my final point would be that in paragraph 3.12, the DPAG no longer exists, I believe, or at least it's in the process of becoming a SCIO or setting up a SCIO. So just confirmation on those 3 points, if you could, Liz, please.
Yes, happy to do so. Thank you, Chair. So the Guild is very active, as I'm sure many members will know, in looking at potential avenues, and they're linked into the Mid-Steeple Quarter. So there could perhaps be opportunities for physical locations as well as open-air market festivals. So I think they're certainly considering their future plans after June. When this arrangement would come to an end. So I think many exciting ideas and opportunities are being discussed by the Guild in association with other partners. In terms of the licence, so the licence itself doesn't provide for use of the location, it's the road occupation permit. So, and that, to be honest, that's one of the confusions I think that has happened over the last 3 years, that the two operators are working in different systems. So one operator, because it is a private organisation, needs a licence to occupy. At present, that licence only covers the Queensberry Square and Fountain Plainstains area. So to be able to apply for a road occupation permit for that wider area up to Burn Statue, they need an amendment to their licence. So that private organisation needs two things: a licence that covers the whole area and the road occupation permit. And it's the road occupation permit that determines whether or not you can have access to that location. The licence in itself doesn't allow for that. You need the road occupation permit. So, for example, that's one example where in Geed Neighbours, for example, the road occupation permit is made available to Geed Neighbours. So anybody that had a licence for that area, they can't get access to it on that day because it's the road occupation permit that allows for that. And the third element, yes, the Dumfries Partnership Action Group is indeed in the process of changing its constitution, and I think our council will certainly want to support them, whatever their future constitutional basis is, to help them fulfil their ideas. And again, members, particularly those in Economy and Resources, will have seen a very exciting plan for dynamically different Dumfries that I'm sure the Nithsdale Area Committee will want to support.
Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate that. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, John, and thanks, Liz. I've got 3 other speakers so far. I've got Leader Elaine, Jeff Lever, and then Provost Tracy. So, Elaine, please.
John Martin's up as well, Chair.
Oh, I haven't seen his hand in. My apologies for that. I've got John Martin in somewhere.
Oh, I've never put my hand up.
Who's running this show, John?
No, I never put my hand up.
It's just it's covering half my screen. Sorry, Elaine.
Oh, it's maybe somebody else's hand in there. Right. Okay. I mean, first of all, it's sort of ironic, but you know, eventually this has solved itself. You know, because we've had months of discussion about this situation, and often I felt the council has been piggy in the middle, between the two rival operators. And it now seems to be resolved because one of the operators wants to go to a different location, which I think is, that makes things easier for us probably. But like the others, other members, I hope that the Guild is going to operate from the town centre, because I think the markets are an important attractant, bringing people into the town centre. And I would also hope that it was quite obvious that the competition that was going on actually improved the offer, I think, from the markets. And I see this assistance from council officers as being made available to both the market operators, and I hope that they will be encouraged to continue to offer a good product, if you like, to the public I mean, I think that having good markets in the town centre is something which will enhance the centre, will bring people in, and it, you know, very much to be encouraged. And I'm pleased if the rivalry has gone and that they both found different ways of being able to accommodate what they want to do. But let's, you know, try and encourage both operators to continue to make as good an offer as they possibly can, because I think actually that is very much for the benefit of the town. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That's a good offer from Elaine. I don't think there are any questions there, Liz, but certainly a positive approach from the council leader. Jeff, please.
Yeah, like Elaine, I'm and everybody else, I'm pleased this has now been resolved after all this time. But just as an aside, effectively, not directly concerning the report, but there is a planning application in for refurbishment of the fountain. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take and how widespread that will be. Do you have any contingency plans? Because obviously a large part of the area which is set aside for the market is the fountain area. So have we built anything into the plans for that?
Liz?
Yeah, I think the extended area that is now available through the road occupation permit clearly gives additional capacity for any operator in the time that perhaps there's an area that wouldn't be available. So that will be taken into account when colleagues are issuing the road occupation permit.
Thanks, Liz.
Thanks, Liz. Are you satisfied, Jeff?
Yep, that's fine.
Super, thank you. It looks like the last word goes to the Provost. Might be very appropriate. Tracy, please.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's just, I have a different feeling about this than other members. I'm quite sad, actually. I think that due to all this, not controversial, but all this competition that has been back and forward and between the two market operators and our insistence and trying to make them work collegially, which has not been possible, I think we've driven this new market out. That's how I feel. I'm hoping they're going to stay in buildings within the town centre, or I think we've lost a wonderful opportunity there. I'm concerned now, are we back to square one? Are we back to where it's only one market person who's going to have this for years, and we're never going to be able to bring anything else in? If someone wants to come in with some sort of, even just one random week for a special occasion, you know, we used to have European markets in there, we used to have all different kind of things. Are we now back to square one?
Liz?
Well, I think what I've tried to reflect in the presentation of this report is that this concludes this particular arrangement, and that by supporting the Guild, the Dumfries Partnership Action Group, or any subsequent organisation that it moves into, and local businesses, that you do want indeed to encourage use of the pedestrianised town centre. And the dynamically different Dumfries Action Plan certainly references these opportunities for market festivals and other entertainment. So that it will be perfectly open to Nithsdale Area Committee and indeed other routes for consideration to be given to any new proposals. And I think one of the challenges that we've had, as you see, is that there's been a different constitutional basis for the two organisations, and perhaps the way that the approach was originally structured did not help the harmonious relationships between two different types of enterprise. So I think going forward, there will be absolutely nothing to stop Nithsdale Area Committee encouraging and supporting different types of markets in the town, depending on what the arrangements could be.
Thanks, Liz. Content with that, Tracy?
No, can I come back in? How would we do that? The last time we had a market operator who'd had the licence for a very long time, hadn't done anything wrong, hadn't done anything that would mean that we would take it from them, but then we had this new idea coming in, but there wasn't the possibility to slot that in because of what the other operator had. So if it's possible for us to consider other offers, how do we do that now? I mean, if this operator has this license and has this license for many years, then we're just back to square one. That's personally how I'm feeling. So how can we make it that if something else like what the Guild's brought to us. If someone else comes forward with anything at all that would benefit the town centre, how it's not going to be years again of trying to work out how we do this.
My understanding from the way that the approach was originally set up was that it was advertised as a competition, and obviously the Dumfries Partnership Action Group wasn't in place at the time, so there wasn't a forum for businesses and organisations to come together to discuss how they were going to take something forward. So I think perhaps the competition element that was built into the start of this process meant that there was that element of difference between the types of organisation. So going forward, we would certainly see that the DPAG group or its successor would be part of having a conversation with the local businesses and other interests about coming forward with a joint plan. I mean, you'll see that Town Centre Dynamics have certainly highlighted to us that they are willing to work with other partners in the future arrangements.
Sorry, Jim, one wee last one. I just want to say I wish the Guild all the best in the new venture. I'm hoping they're going to stay within the town because that was a wonderful asset. And also the other market, you just said, what's the name of them again? Sorry, I just slipped my mind.
Town Centre Dynamics.
Town Centre Dynamics, sorry. I wish them all the great success as well. And I'm hoping without the competition that they continue to up their game, because as Councillor Bell said, we're needing people in the town centre now. We're needing to get people as much as possible. And I hope it doesn't go backwards, as I said, back to square one, and that they keep on improving and keep growing. And I wish them both the greatest of success.
Thank you very much, Tracy. John Campbell's looking to come back in. John, please.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Thanks for letting me back in. Yeah, I kind of agree with some of the points that the Provost was making there. I mean, my understanding going back to the 7th of November 2018, it appeared that the Nithsdale Area Committee members were keen to see that the town was open up to, you know, alternative things. And we kind of got the feeling that that would be the case going forward. Now, going back to 3.12 and picking up what Liz was saying there, you know, that the first sentence, it says that, you know, the pursuit of other exciting avenues by the Guild brings this particular arrangement for the town centre markets to a close. Now, that might have been that particular part, as Liz is referring to the competition, but I got the feeling going back to 2018 that members would like to see, you know, that the town centre is there for everyone. It's not just for one particular market. And I hope, well, it'll probably not be this, you know, area committee, but the new council, I hope they take these points on board and that we can improve the town centre and it is a viable place for more than one market. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks very much, John. That was an observation, obviously, Liz, and I'm sure you've got that. Any other members wishing to speak? If not, we have the recommendations. We are asked to note the progress and the issues relating to the town centre of Dumfries and town centre market operators as set out in paragraphs 3.6 to 3.11, and agree the conclusion of the current arrangement and the way forward as set out in the paragraphs 3.12 and 3.13. Members content with that?
Yep, it's good to see the groups coming together, Chair. I'd agree with
Thank you, Joe. That concludes the business of this committee today. I have no other business other than to thank officers, staff and members in the Nithsdale Area Committee for the positive way they've worked towards the benefit of Dumfries and Nithsdale, and wish everybody well in the future, whatever you do. And thank you very much for your support during my term as Chair of the Nithsdale Area Committee. Thank you very much, everyone. Best
Same to you, Chair. All the best.